And a lot of times you can learn from like newer artists because they so naive about stuff. They might not do stuff a traditional way, and in a way sometimes it can be genius.
Right.
And then
Okay.
you always want to be part of
Mm-hmm.
the next big thing,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You
Obviously.
want to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I rode the way. You know what I'm saying? I was with them when they started. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Most definitely that. So I got a question. So do you ever get attached to an artist? As far as like, okay, a new guy coming up, and then you're like, okay, hey man, let me be your engineer, or whatever. Do you ever get attached to a guy like that, or you
Uh,
try to keep it just strictly like business or whatever?
when I was younger, but music is a tricky industry, man. Like it costs a lot of money and it costs a lot of dedication. So I mean, my younger days it wasn't about the money because I was like always had this kind of like a side hustle. I always had like a main job, but then when that transition happened, it more so turned into like business. Because sometimes, man, in my experience, sometimes you find the dopest artists and they'll have the worst work ethic. But you find a mediocre artist that has to work at it to be great, and they will go hard. They're gonna come on time. They're gonna show up. They're not gonna waste your time. So, in my experience in the past, like artists that I put on a pedestal that was good, they kind of shit on me. Not intentionally, but just because that's how everybody kind of put them on this pedestal, so things become expected sometimes. So when I was younger, yeah, but now it's just always business. It's like, can you pay the deposit? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Or is it a relationship play? You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, it's business now, so I don't ever really get attached in that sense.
So speaking on the artists, like once you help artists and then they start to I guess shit on you, down the line. Do you think it's like their surroundings, like the people around them, or like the bigger guys as they get bigger, putting what I'm saying, like putting words in their ear like, hey man, don't fool with that guy anymore and all that kind
Man,
of
it's
stuff.
sometimes it don't even be them directly. Like it's really how you conduct your business. Like I say, like I was younger, the way I conducted my business was just like, like me and my homeboys started rapping. I went to school for it, and then we just kind of cook up. So it was never like I kind of got into engineering to like because I was a producer to make my shit better. But I fucked around and actually was good at engineering. So then it was starting to cross into like, oh man, his stuff sound good. I'll pay you to do my stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I never really wanted to take it there. So as I started to like dabble in it, like not handling my business correctly. You know what I'm saying? Like it put me in those situations. But after you go through it so many times, eventually you're like, all right, I need a deposit. I need this. We gotta have some type of agreement. We gotta have an understanding. You know what I mean? Like it can't just be kind of left out in the open. When I was younger, I used to just kind of just leave that shit up because it really wasn't a focus of mine like that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a producer. I'm gonna have a label. That's really my focus. But it kind of just grew. I kind of organically just grew in the engineering. Kind of just kind of started happening. Like even it be times I'm like, I'm about to quit this shit. Then I get that call like, hey man, so and so looking for an engineer, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a fork in the road. It's like, well, shit, I need the bread. It's a good play. You know what I'm saying? But as I got older, I just like fuck it. I gotta roll with it. Like I can't. I don't want to work no regular job. I already work in music. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
If I
Okay.
can. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
No. No. Okay. So what about the producing side? I kind of feel like producers don't really get enough credit as far as like producing guys and making guys kind of bigger. As far as like on the money side, how do you feel about that?
It just depends, man. It's kind of loaded question because it depends on how much work the producer's doing, man. Some producers just send you the beat and the artist record to it. And they might not have no physical interaction or even verbal interaction. It might just be straight digital. That's mostly what's going on now. But then you have them guys that actually pull up to the session with you, and you're like, hey man, I like this. I like this melody. You think you could make a melody like this? Or have you heard this type of song? Did you hear the drums they use? And they actually kind of like build something from scratch. So it just really depends on how much role the producer play in the actual project. Or it might even be a producer that ain't even making the beats. He might have some young dudes making the beats, and it's an artist that he know he can put in a situation because of who he is. Definitely in that situation, the producer's gonna like take majority of it because he's using his status or his relationships to get the situation. So it really just depends on what the situation is with the artist and the producer, from what I've seen.
Yeah, because, you know, a lot of guys don't do paperwork either as far as, like, you know,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
properly getting the song, you know, I guess, distributed as far as the funds correctly.
Yeah, or they just sign any paperwork they give them because they think it's a play. You know, people be so excited for opportunity. They so scared to say, "Hold on, man, it's moving too fast. Let me call my lawyer. Let me see what y'all talking about." They just be so like, "Yo, he want to fuck with me. Let's do it." They be done gave up 75% or all of their publishing. Don't even know. They don't even know what they signed, and then they want to come back when they popping a few years later, like, "Oh, they robbed me." It's like, nah, bro, you robbed yourself. You didn't do what you got so excited. You just jumped in the situation. That happens so much.
Yeah, a lot.
And you think in this day and age with internet that shit wouldn't happen that easy. Not that easy, you know what I'm saying?
But I think it's, you know, it's because, you know, a lot of these guys kind of be poor or whatever. So I think a lot of times they probably do understand that the label probably is going to win in the end. But they like, man, I got to get my mama out this situation or whatever.
I get it, you know what I'm saying? Especially if there's some money on the table, like, yeah, shit. But I just be feeling like, you know, to come back later on and be like, oh, you got over. It's like, nah, bro, like, they put up all the money. They paid for all the studio time. They brought in the producer. They did all this. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you put money in, it might be a different story. You got more leverage.
Yeah, but a lot of guys come in with no money.
But that's any business, bro. You go to the bank, you get a loan. They're going to hit you with that percentage of what you owe them. You're going to have to pay it back.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the same thing.
By any means, too.